welcome to Live in the Solution. I'm your astrologer and tarot card reader, Mary Trimble, here with your readings for December the 9th through the 15th. What an incredible celestial sky we have this week. A lot is going on, but that's for the astrological report. So if you're new, welcome. I really hope you enjoy these readings and that you will return. And if you are returning, thank you so much for your loyalty, support, and love. Now, these readings are for the collective, guys. So take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you would like a more tailored, in-depth personal reading, then click on this link here and that will take you to my website and you can take a look at the kind of readings that I offer. Now, these readings are for your sun, moon, and rising. So if you know your sun, moon, and rising, then check out the other readings. All the links will be in the description box below. It'll say show more. You click on that, or if it's on a telephone, it'll have a little arrow pointing down, and that will open up the links to everything. I have a Facebook group, guys, and every 2 weeks I do a live feed in that group, which correlates with the new moon or the full moon. It is a private group, so you just have to click on the link below and request to join, and you'll just have a couple of questions that you have to ask. That's it. So yeah, well, whoever shows up for the live feed, then I look at the horoscopes and their sign and see how you are receiving the energy from the new or the full moon, respectively. So I'll be doing one this week coming up for this full moon in Gemini. So we have lots of fun there. It's really cool. Now, another way to support this channel, other than likes and shares and comments, which I really appreciate, guys, check out my Patreon page right here. I post things on there that I don't post anywhere else, or sometimes I preview them there before I make them public. So you can support me for as little as $1 a month, which is what, $12 a year, which is not a lot, but it's a lot for me. I can do a lot with that. And if you can't, that's fine. Just like, share, comment, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Lastly, these readings come in 3 sections. There's this section, which is the intro. Then there is the astrology report. And then after that is the tarot reading. I have the skip stamp times for each section below, right above, directly above all the links to the other videos. Sometimes that will be there straight away, but sometimes it takes me a minute to get all the links up. So bear with me. I have to upload all the videos first, and then I can put in all the links. So guys, without further ado, let's go to the astrology report, shall we? Hello and welcome to the astrology report section of your reading for December the 9th through the 15th. So gosh, there's so much going on. We start off with Monday, the 9th of December. Mercury moves into Sagittarius. It's going to feel like a breath of fresh air because Mercury has been in Scorpio since October the 3rd. You know, it's been there for over 2 months because of the retrograde. You know, it was just about to come out and then it went retrograde. So it has been a very long journey. And it's in Scorpio, we had to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves, you know, and some of us are still shaken up by that, by those revelations. We will go from these deep, intense and detailed oriented thoughts and conversations to the bigger picture, a little bit more scattered and perhaps saying things without much foresight. So we can kind of, you know, there's very little filter between thought and mouth. It's just it just comes out. Mercury moving into Sagittarius is going to lighten the mood. We'll feel lighter, we'll feel more optimistic and more joyous. When Mercury is in Sagittarius, our thinking shifts from this need to dig deep into any given situation or topic to the desire to learn about everything. It's like we want to know everything. We want to learn. So we see this, we want to learn about it. We see that, we want to learn about it. We're like excited about deepening our education or knowledge. So our thinking becomes more optimistic, our faith becomes stronger and increases, and we are more idealistic. We're more concerned with what is fair and what is not. But under this influence, with Mercury in Sagittarius, we may not always make the right choices. Now, Mercury and Sagittarius don't exactly get along. Mercury represents our thought process and intellect, communication, whereas Sagittarius can jump to conclusions, seldom listens, and can be a bit impulsive. This transit can be challenging when it comes to communicating with others. We may be more optimistic and joyful, but we also have a tendency to make decisions based on assumptions, which can cause catastrophic errors in judgment. So be aware of this tendency and slow down. Resist the urge to make decisions before talking it over with trusted friends or family members. Remember, don't assume anything until you have all the facts. Resist the urge to jump to conclusions. Now, Wednesday, December the 11th, Venus conjuncts Saturn in the early hours of the morning. This aspect is challenging for love and finance. Your relationships could go through a lack of connection or lack of emotion. A stable relationship can weather this storm, but if your relationship is on rocky ground or unstable legs, it may not survive. If you meet under this influence, there could be a significant age difference and probably will be based on practical considerations rather than a partnership rather than a love match. This transit can also affect your finances and you could find yourself strapped for cash. So planning ahead might be prudent at this time so that you won't be in this predicament again in the future. Now, Thursday, December the 12th, we have the full moon in Gemini at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's talk about the significance of the number 1212, 1212. This is the 12th month, and on the 12th day, we have the full moon at 12:12. How crazy is that? Well, this is a very significant number in numerology. It represents the highest vibration. It's a connection to the higher self or the light body, spirit guides, and it's the ascended master's frequency. So if you keep seeing this number, like I have been seeing this number a lot over the last few months, particularly, it's more and more frequent for me. You are connecting to that light, or you're being urged to connect to it. It's the new earth awakening vibration. It's that frequency. It's very high. So this is an incredible opportunity. It's almost like a portal has opened up for this because so this is about change. So not only do we have this full moon, and as most of you know, the full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. It's actually the sun's light that illuminates the moon. It's the sun feeding the moon, if you like. So the moon is in Gemini and the sun is in Sagittarius. And full moons are about culminations and endings, crescendo coming to, it's change, right? It's endings and beginnings. Gemini is about the intellect. It's about the thought process, the spoken and the written word. It's about books and about learning, right? While Sagittarius is about spirituality, adventure, and higher learning. It's kind of a higher octave of learning. And it's about optimism. Now, at the same time as this full moon, there is a T-square, what we call in astrology a T-square. And that T-square is to Neptune. So that means that Neptune is square to both the sun and the moon. This is a challenging aspect, right? Squares are tension, and they're kind of motivating, if you will. Now, the lowest octave of this energy is the monkey brain, right? That's what will be highlighted, what we call in meditation the monkey brain. It is that unconscious chatter in the background that's constantly going, that's there all the time, and perhaps sometimes we're not conscious half the time. Some of us aren't conscious of it at all, but some of us are awakening and hearing that voice in the back of our heads that is saying, you're not good enough, you'll never do it, you're too old, you're too young, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too ugly, you're too dumb, you'll never make it. Oh, look, see, there you go. You've done it again. It's that kind of energy. And it's that. So the antidote to that is meditation. Meditation quietens the monkey brain. So listen, we may be too idealistic or perhaps even deceptive. That's the lower octave of it. We may be overly sensitive and we may take things personally. This full moon will shed a light on the truth and will bring something from the unconscious into the conscious. Maybe make us aware of what we're thinking and how we feel about ourselves, or how we're allowing this monkey brain to dictate how we feel about ourselves, right? Now, meditation, I always say this, if you've watched me before, meditation isn't about controlling your mind, but it's about not allowing your mind to control you, not dictating our actions according to our monkey brain. The higher octave of this energy is that we connect to higher energies, to that light, that 1-2-1-2 frequency, right? Because the veil between the worlds with Neptune at play becomes very thin. So we are able to communicate with spirit in the ethereal realm. It will empathize with the suffering and the plight of the less fortunate around the world. And it's imperative that we conduct ourselves with honesty, kindness, and integrity, and that we keep a positive mindset. It's like visualize the manifestation of your dreams and wishes, practice that. The energy surrounding us right now is really fast and furious. All the planets are traveling direct and they're picking up speed. So they are going full force. It's like we're on the express train to 2020. So we are manifesting our beliefs at an incredible speed. So it's really important to make sure that you are in the I can and will mindset as opposed to I can't or won't attitude. Now, I haven't finished, guys. There's more. On Friday, December the 13th, Mars trines Neptune. Now, with Mars trining Neptune, your sensitivity and creativity is stimulated. It creates a magnetic, attractive, and sensual charm. which is ideal for romance, you know, inspires a spiritual connection with romantic partners, whether you're in one or you're meeting one. It feels so right. This aspect can also spur an urge to stand up for the underdog or a human rights cause. Anything that you feel is unjust, it's like you will be moved by that. Although this isn't an aggressive energy, it will give you the courage to fight for the rights of people, animals, or the environment based on moral and ethical values. It's very idealistic, but very action oriented. So you want to get up, you want to stand up, you want to do something tangible for what's going on in the world. We're seeing it around the world. People are getting more and more involved in protests. Look what's going on in Hong Kong. Anyway, so also on that day, Venus is conjunct Pluto a couple of hours later, right? What is it? 4 hours later or 3 hours later. So you're going to feel this is kind of energy that's around now. This brings a need. It brings in the need for a deeper and more meaningful connection with your partner, or indeed, if you're single, the longing to fall in love. The desire is so strong that you may manipulate others, even engage in atrocious behavior like stalking or spying on your lover or partner, going through their emails or their phone or their bags or their coat pockets and things like that, and surreptitiously. It's not good. Spying on people, tracking their phones and their computers and things like that. It's really not okay to spy on anyone. It's not. It will actually create the opposite of what you desire. It will push someone away because everyone inevitably gets caught doing that kind of stuff eventually. So it's important to resist the urge to control and allow things to play out, even if the result is not what not to your liking, because karma is attached to this energy, and we must play it with honesty and integrity. We must, come from a higher perspective or a higher energy. If you meet someone during this transit, you could jump in over your head and become infatuated or even obsessed, which can spur the behavior I've just highlighted, So take it slow. Keep your friends in the loop and confess the temptation to manipulate or do anything that's kind of nefarious or underhanded or sneaky, so that they can talk you out of it. Now we move on to December the 15th, Jupiter trine Uranus in the afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a wonderful energy, guys. Fabulous surprises and wonderful opportunities could pop up out of the blue. Small miracles kind of thing, that kind of thing. It's like, oh, wow. Serendipity encounters with influential people can happen. It's a time to take risks, actually, and push the boundaries, of how far you can go in a good way. It's a lucky day. Actually, it lasts for more than a few days, but it's the most intense on Sunday because that's when the aspect is exact. So what a lovely day to end the week on. So without further ado, let's go to your tarot card reading, shall we? Hello, Gemini, and welcome to the tarot card section of your reading. So this is for December the 9th through the 15th. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Gemini for this current week? Three cards for Gemini, please. Two more cards for Gemini, please. Oh, there you go. Two more cards. There you go. All right, now let's go to the clarifying cards. Excuse me. These are clarifying cards for Gemini. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Gemini through these clarifying cards for the week of December the 9th through the 15th? Okay, this is for Gemini, Please clarify. Oh, there we go. Two cards for that. Alrighty then. And please clarify. Oh, there we go. And please clarify. There we have it. Oh, look at that. Okay, let's take a look at your cards, Gemini. Here we go. The first card out for you is the Four of Wands. Clarifying the Four of Wands is the Seven of Swords and the Temperance card. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles, clarified by the Judgment card. And we have the High Priestess, clarified by the Eight of Cups. We already have crossover, guys, so you might want to check out your Sun, Moon, and Rising, because I think there's something in there for you. Now, the first card out for you is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands kind of indicates a project that you may have finished that you feel proud of. And that it's cause for celebration. It's a lovely foundation from which to jump. It's like celebrating with friends and family. You know, you could have, you know, it can be the first stage of a project. It could even be like you're going to buy a house and you've just, you know, you've just saved enough for the down deposit and you're starting to look at, or you've put a down deposit on a house or an apartment or whatever it is. Or it could be that, or it could be a project at work and you feel very proud of what you've accomplished. It's an accomplishment. And it just looking at this card makes you feel happy, and it makes you want to celebrate with loved ones, with family. It's like bringing them in. Now, I will say, clarifying it is the Seven of Swords, right? And the Seven of Swords is there's somebody in your midst that doesn't have your best interest at heart, who is perhaps, you know, who's probably gossiping behind your back, that kind of thing, or not being completely truthful, or trying to take the accolades that you deserve. It's somebody that just does not have your best interest at heart. Let me put that. There's somebody in your midst that's smiling in your face. I always think of that song when I think, they smile in your face, the backstabbers. The OJs, I think, sang that, if you look that up, because it probably doesn't sound anything like I just sang, but it's somebody that's kind of nefarious, but will get caught. It's like you'll find out who this person is. It's inevitable. It can be jealousy. It can be somebody like, you know, saying, you know, trying to ruin your reputation, but they don't really succeed. I'm not seeing them succeed. And I will say, you've got the Temperance card. So the Temperance card is all about balance, right? So yes, celebrate, guys, but don't stay at the party too long. Don't drink too much. And we do have a lot going on this week, and we may want to kind of, you know, take the edge off things, and we might go a little too far sometimes. So just your mantra all week should be everything in moderation and you will be fine. But just remember, that goes for your temper, how you feel about this person. When you may even know already who this person is, that doesn't have your best interest at heart. You kind of know. But the next card out is the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles, all knights are about moving forward. And this particular knight is known as the Green Knight, right? And he is standing there and he is just focused on this lovely big golden coin. And he is probably contemplating how he can make more of that. Now, when he comes into a reading, he is saying, don't rush into anything. Don't be rash. Don't jump. Look, we've got that aspect with Sagittarius, the sun, the T square with Neptune. There's Neptune in Pisces. We've got the moon in Gemini. It's the full moon. You're going to really be affected and really feel this. And this also can be that kind of, deception, right? Somebody's being deceptive. So, that T square, and the sun is in Sagittarius, right? So you've got the moon in Gemini, the sun in Sagittarius, and Neptune in a square to both the sun and the moon. And it's like, don't jump to conclusions. It's very important to have integrity, to be honest, to be above board, keep your side of the street clean. It's, there's a karmic value going on. This is very karmic. So we want to be very careful about how we behave. Don't worry about others. Just keep your side of the street clean. So he is about strategic and methodical steps forward. So yes, move forward, but very slowly, very carefully, very deliberate, with foresight. He's smart. He doesn't waste his energy. He's not like, some of the other knights with swords ablazing, running in, here I come to save the day. He's like, okay, do you really need saving? Can you get out of that yourself? If you can't, he'll be there. But he's not going to waste his energy. He's not going to rush in and cause a fight or fight where there's no need to. So move forward, but strategically and slowly, and think about every step that you take. Survey the land and make your moves. And then you've got the Judgment card following it. So this is like, things are going to come up. This is really Pluto. This is Pluto, darling. Things are going to come up. Secrets come out, things that come up that you don't want to deal with, and then you're forced to deal with it because it's like ride or die, that kind of thing, Now, this is also a call to duty, Gemini. So if you are not, this is the higher mind. Again, look, there's wings. This is there's wings on the helmet. This is like, behaving for a higher purpose, for the good of all. So, it's definitely important to listen. If you're not doing something that is raising society up, is helping people in some way, it doesn't have to be completely altruistic, but it can be painting, or it can be writing something that's going to, a story or something that's uplifting, that will make people feel good, and help people, or inspiring people in some way. So the next card up is the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is between these two kind of energies, light and dark, yin, yang, male, female, good, bad. And they're opposing forces, and she's in between. And she is a connection to the higher realm. So here we go again, the theme again. is connecting to the higher realm. She's all about intuition, psychic abilities, and she's making the Akashic records available to you, which is, the wisdom from when time began. All that has happened since time started, right? So this is available to you. And I feel, and how to tap into that is through meditation. Tap into her. Oh, close your eyes, deep breathing, listening to some music also can take you into that, take you to a higher vibration and into that space. And you have the 8 of Cups. So it's almost like you are dissatisfied with what your life is like. And you are searching for something a little more with more meaning and spiritually based. And perhaps could be just service based. It can be, in service for humanity. You want a more meaningful existence. And so it's time for you to explore that. It's time for you to feed your soul, to do things that make you feel wonderful and also is in service to others, can help others. Just being with like-minded people sometimes serve others, right? Because we feed off that positivity with each other's. We feel that love from like-minded people, and we feel that connection, and we don't feel alone anymore. So this is about leaving the material realm behind and going towards a more spiritual and meaningful existence. Gemini, thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, social media. If you can share that, it's great. And comment. I always answer and respond to every comment. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you next week.